Identity in Politics, North America's newest podcast, introducing fellow podcastman Charles Bell, Trad Overlord, and I'm Dean Vance. Well, Charles, there's a lot of things we could talk about. I don't have any issues typed up, but there's a ton we could talk about. I think we'll start off in North Korea. North Korea is going to do a ceremony and close down their nuclear program. That's quite a big step.
Well, we'll see how far that really goes, in closing that nuclear facility down, and really if there's actually really a denuclearization of North Korea. I mean, they're still going to know how to use the nukes, you know what I mean? So really, I really don't understand how Donald Trump really thinks this is going to be beneficial. I mean, yeah, them not having active nukes on hand is good, but they still have the know-how to do it.
Yeah. To take a man's word for it, a man who fed his uncle to dogs,
yeah,
who has concentration camps, or at least mild labor camps. I mean, Trump is going to be hesitant up until the end. So I mean, I actually kind of believe in Kim Jong Un. I mean, he's gone this far. Why would he? Why would he go this far to turn back? Yeah. Right.
So, and he's hugging and, kissing the South Korean president, you know. I mean, if that's not gay, I don't know. But we're just having a fun time tonight. But, no, I do think he does mean some business. But I do think that we need to keep our eyes peeled on him. I mean, he is a manipulator, he manipulates his people. And I saw a defector, he came out, I listened to the video, he says, his people are growing impatient. Mm-hmm. So, and maybe talking about revolt. I don't know. This is just this guard's theory who defected. That they're growing really impatient. He promised 3 years ago that they would be living in a paradise right now, and they're living in a crap hole.
I think if any military could do it, to pull off a successful coup d'etat, it would be North Korean military. It would be extremely bloody. Very entertaining. I mean, I'd love to watch it play out, but it would be extremely bloody.
It would.
Because they're radical. Which is there's nothing really wrong with being a little radical, but that would be bloody, very bloody. It's North Korean Civil War.
I mean, it would be a crap show, but it would be fun,
Yeah.
And really, hats off. I mean, I shouldn't be giving them. This is like giving the devil credit here. Hats off to North Korea.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that they're going this far. But I think it's great. Donald Trump's going to Singapore too to meet Kim Jong Un on June 12th. If I was Donald Trump, I wouldn't trust meeting in North Korea.
Right.
Yeah. Either. I really think he's kind of intimidated to meet North Korea. But if he had to, yeah.
Is there a cooler place you wish you would have met with him?
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago?
I wish you would have Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
No, I mean...
Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen him meet maybe in, like, Seoul with President Moon there too, but I guess President Moon and Kim Jong-un have already said their piece.
Right.
So what would be the point, really? But I think Singapore is kind of like, really, of all places. But I guess it's just kind of out there, not much political.
I think it would
outside.
I think it would have been cool if it was in like St. Petersburg or Moscow or something like that. Or Tehran,
I mean, really? I mean, if Kim Jong Un came to the United States, I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would.
I
wouldn't blame him for not coming though.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him. Too many raging people from the South.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I am pretty hopeful of the North Korea situation, and really, I don't know what this is very out of color for North Korea.
Yeah.
And I really wonder what the deeper problems are in North Korea. There has to be something, and I really think the sanctions are really crippling them.
Yeah.
And I don't see the sanctions being lifted anytime soon. So Kim Jong Un is being a very good boy, if you want to call it that. He's been putting time out. He's trying to kiss his way out to being on play with the other kids. So it's really interesting.
Did you see what's going into North Korea now? McDonald's. They're putting
Really?
McDonald's in North Korea.
Yeah, did CBS come out or Fox or?
I don't know. I think it's like, would you rather 18-year-old, 22-year-old North Korean men? Would you rather them be doing military drills or eating McDonald's? It's like,
yeah,
like
it's just an Olive Garden over there or something.
It's the tentacles of America expanding even more, which is dumb.
Really, I mean, McDonald's over there. I mean, really.
At least they'd have something to eat.
It could end the famine, man. It could end the famine, man.
Yeah.
It's
Some
like
little North Korean villager will walk into the camp and say, 20 Big Macs, everybody.
yeah. Ronald's been good to us this year.
I got 6 number 12s. Let's go. 40 Diet Coke.
Yeah, 40 Diet Coke for everybody. Donald Trump's favorite. Yeah. Oh, shoot. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, what is their currency over there?
I don't
The
even
freaking,
know.
I don't know. The dollar menu over there. I don't know what that even called. I don't know if they have a dollar menu since their inflation's so high. Heck,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a won. Currency's a won.
a won seems legit.
Yeah.
So what can a dollar buy on? Do you know?
Inflation is 55% as of July.
A year?
As of July 2013.
And let me know, people. Inflation for the United States is about 2%
Right.
every year. This is 55% for North
Yeah.
Korea. No surprise, but
I'm gonna look up what the Weimar Republic.
I mean, it's
Inflation.
very interesting. But yeah, I can only imagine of the good behavior. You know, you get an extra French fry or something. You know what I mean? Then if your wife's been good, you get the dipping sauce. You know what I mean? I've talked to some Asian people, and they don't like to use ice cubes in their drinks. They like warm stuff. They
Really?
don't drink cold water. They drink warm water.
Really?
Now, I don't know if that's because I don't know what you call it, like pasteurize their own water because it's dirty over there.
Yeah.
I talk to Chinese people, you know, and they're like, yeah. I was like, man, I go for ice cold water right now. They're like, ice cold water? What do you mean? I'm like, cold water, very refreshing. They're like, no, we don't ever drink cold water. I like it warm.
The perfect thing for Trump to do would be somehow, like, get Kim Jong-un out of power, install a puppet government, and colonize the Korean Peninsula. I mean, imagine the vacation spot North Korea would be. Imagine that. Paradise.
Yeah, especially that hill they got pointing with all them guns toward South Korea.
Yeah.
Just start building a bunch of, houses up there on that hill.
Mansions for the governors or something.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be real nice, really.
Have you seen the movie The Interview?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can't talk about North Korea and not talk about, a little
With
bit of
Seth
Katy
Rogen?
Perry.
You seen
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Oh man, Seth Rogen goes into a supermarket and the fruits on the shelves are plastic.
Yeah. Can you imagine all the North Koreans like, I got 6 number 12s.
Yeah.
They're all plastic.
Like those toys kids play with, the plastic hamburgers.
Oh, man, that just suck.
Yeah.
But, it makes you kind of wonder. I mean, do you think they have, like, a little town, like, with fake food? They bring, like, North Korean visitors to, like, they can just look through the window, Just walk by, it's not buy anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Life over there would be very interesting.
I've always wanted to go there,
Yeah.
but I don't want to end up like Otto.
Yeah.
Warm beer,
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace to
Yeah.
him. It's a shame. But, just even something little like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're American, you took a freaking pen and notepad that the hotel has, big whoop,
Yeah.
Take the Gideon Bible with you, too.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
we'll talk about this some later, but American tourism to Iran is the highest it's been for a while, and the tension between Iran and the U.S. is the highest it's been in a while, and yet Americans are still going there, even more than they were before, but not to North Korea. We're not going to travel to North Korea no matter what. which is interesting, the comparison.
Yeah, have you ever watched that Vice on YouTube, like where they tour North Korea? They have undercover cameras.
Undercover? No, I haven't.
Oh man, it is insane. And see, I think they're actually British people. Maybe not Americans, maybe American with them, but man, it's crazy about all the stuff. Like, they didn't have enough electricity to power a hotel. Their nicest hotel, they got us put in the nicest hotel. It literally looked like a Motel 6.
Were they in the capital?
Oh yeah, they're in Pyongyang. And,
you're talking about North Korea.
In North Korea.
Okay.
Yeah, these people. I mean, the people in Vice. Yeah, you can look up on YouTube.
Yeah.
They got like 6 20-minute episodes, and it's like they didn't have power for a little bit because they had to get more power generated to it. And then 2, the place, had a freaking dinosaur TV. What I mean by dinosaur, the big box TVs.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, this is like 2016, okay? If you're downtown in the capital,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be no dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, it's really interesting, see these people who go undercover and talk about North Korea. And, I've always wondered this about North Korea. If I ever went there, which I don't think I will ever, but I'd be interested to go to, but maybe in 20 years it'll be changed, but it would be interesting to see. I've always thought about this. If I'm in my hotel room and what I talk with whoever I'm with, if they're listening to me or not, do they have cameras or some type of voice recording where they always have a live feed on you? I'd be scared to say anything.
If you're American, they might. Very well might. Average North Koreans, I don't know, but...
No, I'd say their government, though.
If they know an American is in town, probably pre-set up some cameras or something.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine just restraining my speech. Like, man, this place is a dump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It looks like it's from the 1970s, dude. Motel 6, Now, it's like the outside and the lobby is really nice. When you get to the rooms, it's like, what in the world happened here? Maybe it's that's nice to them. But,
right.
Grant, their military's from the 70s, too. So, heck, Kim Jong-un's hairdo's in the 70s.
Yeah.
The whole country is just back there.
And
but
Kim Jong-un, when he was young, was in the United States once. Part of a
Really?
student group, I think.
I thought he was only in Europe.
Maybe he was in London or something.
Well,
but
he's got to know how bad his country sucks, then.
He was out of the Asian realm. I know that.
Yeah, he has to know how bad his country just is. If he's going to college outside his country, and he's the supreme leader's son, there's something up.
Yeah.
They know they aren't as strong as their country as they are. Really, come on. You can't not tell me when you can see across the border the lights of South Korea and Seoul, and you're over here this hermit crab.
Yeah.
That never lights up.
And they call it the Hermit Kingdom.
Yeah.
So
that's what they call it, And I don't know what Kim Jong-un is wanting to get out of his regime. Does he want a prosperous country or not?
I think he does, but he thinks prosperous would mean militarily and nuclear bombs, which I don't blame him for wanting a strong military, as every country should and would, but he's certainly gone to the extreme. Do you think Trump deserves Nobel Peace Prize?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
If we see a denuclearized Asia continent. Now, I don't think South Korea is not a threat.
No.
To
China's not a threat. China's not a threat either.
I don't think they are. Because at the end of the day, China needs the U.S.
Yeah.
And you could make an argument, now you may not have been able to make this argument 20 years ago, but the U.S. needs China as well. Really.
Yeah.
So, really, he should get the Nobel Peace Prize, to get back on topic, that, yes, if we see a denuclearized Asian Peninsula, or Korean Peninsula, I should say, be the correct term, he should be getting the Nobel Peace Prize, especially what he's doing in the Middle East.
Yeah. And I think it would be interesting if South Korea actually gives up its nukes. You know what I mean? I don't think so either.
They hold too much weight.
We are probably right now building like an underground warehouse for their nukes.
Oh,
While
yeah.
actively taking Kim Jong Un's. So I mean, and he'll sense that. Kim will sense
Could
that.
China be harboring North Korea's nukes? You know, buddy, you know.
Yeah.
U.S. and North Korea, U.S. and
That's interesting.
South Korea, China and North Korea. So, I mean, and then here's the thing, you know, China's next door neighbors with Big Kimmy.
Yeah.
And the United States, you know, we're a whole half the world away.
The thing is,
maybe we could in like Hawaii, maybe.
Yeah. Japan kind of plays an interesting role in this, or maybe even lack of role. Japan doesn't even have a military. And I would be for the full rearmament of Japan.
I would too.
A full taking it back to the glory days. You know,
they're invading China, kicking butt.
Emperor. I don't want them to invade China.
I mean, wow, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
No more brother wars for them either. You know?
I wouldn't be opposed to Japan.
that would. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see how. I mean, but Japan's just too confined to one spot.
Right.
Dude, I mean, there's so much.
If there's any country other than the European countries I admire, it's probably Japan. I mean, I love Japan.
I mean, Japan's really a strong.
Yeah. I mean, such a rich history too. Emperors and imperialism and big military.
I mean, really. I mean, Japan. I only wonder how strong. I'd say they'd be a very amped up South Korea. I think if
Japan?
If Japan
right.
armed up, you know, give them 10 years or 20 years, they'd be able to invade South Korea.
I think it would be funny too if we rearm Japan and Japan does another Pearl Harbor. I think that would be very
on us.
Yeah, I think that'd be very funny. I wouldn't want that to happen, but that would be funny.
Be kind of like we helped them out, you know,
because we ended up nuking them. I mean, generations are still feeling the
right in
chemicals,
Japan,
the radiation. So.
Which, I mean, it's like that should send a message too, you know, to Japan.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm for the full rearmament. That would be awesome.
I mean, I think we should rearm Japan for the United States' sake of defense. Because if we have a strong Japan and a strong South Korea in Asia, that's more spots if we ever were getting a war with like China and Russia. Those are two good landing pads, you know, right there. Now, and you got the North Koreans, they wouldn't last, you know, very long.
Right.
I mean, easy peasy, you know. I mean, I just think we got like what? How many people are in Japan? Like 150 million people. So we have like
not even that.
I think it's actually that number. You have to check that number. But we have a lot of people at our disposal. Now, granted, you got 1 billion in China, but how many of those are really not living in the woods, you know, or living in a city who don't know how to operate guns or anything like that, you know? But just think, just try to imagine this. I mean, if Japan was strong and South Korea was strong, really very strong economies in the world. I mean, top 10 in the whole world.
127 million.
Okay, yeah, so I was close. So, still.
Russia is 144 million, and South Korea is 51 million.
Okay, so
Japan's twice the size, population-wise, of South Korea.
Yeah, I mean, they just have social economic might, and they could arm up. I wonder what their GDP is compared to South Korea's. That's the interesting stat. The economy size. And really, you got to think, I mean, Japan and South Korea, they're kind of, they're very democracy-oriented in some ways, the way their economy works.
I wish they would bring, but who are you talking about?
Both.
Japan?
Both Japan and South Korea.
South Korea is very democratic. I wish Japan would get back to the old emperor days, you know.
Where they were just taking over everybody.
Yeah. I'm not saying invade everyone, but more respect, more power for an emperor. Return to its history.
Well, Justin Trudeau or whatever, however you say his name.
Trudeau.
Trudeau. I like Trudeau because it just puts a little bit of gayness in him, which he already is. But anyway, excuse me. He said that he admired countries like China that have a dictator, which they call him president, but really he's more of a dictator. He says,
I don't mind a president who's done more or less positive things for his nation saying, I'm not leaving. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that.
Well, the thing is, he says, I admire the dictator, because he can turn his economy around just like on a dime, spin of a dime.
Right.
Well, he knows Matt. I won't put it this way. Imagine if Donald Trump was our kind of dictator. Just imagine how much stuff he could get done.
I
so
want
quickly.
that now.
No more Nancy Pelosi, no more Chucky Schumer, and all this garbage,
Yeah.
and we'd be able to get stuff done. We got puppets like Joe Donnelly, Nancy Pelosi says, Joe, this is how you're going to vote. By the way, he's a representative in Indiana, and he's so badly exposed across the country,
Right.
and even other senators across, and Harry Reid. Let's not forget to mention him, the old bag.
As we carry on, was there something else you wanted to?
No, I was done.
Okay.
But
So you think he should get the Nobel Peace Prize?
I do think he gets the Nobel Peace Prize overall. I know he kind of got in that little North Korea Asia tangent, but overall, if we see the denuclearization of North and South Korea, which South Korea, whatever, he should get Nobel Peace Prize. And I saw a thing on Fox about, I think it was Jesse Waters on Waters World, or whoever it was, went out and started asking people, what do you think about Donald Trump's Nobel Peace Prize? Do you think he should get it? These people were saying no. Dean, tell me, if Donald Trump gets a denuclearization of Korean Peninsula, who has done more than him this year?
I mean, no one.
He's the only viable option. What did Obama do to get his Nobel Peace Prize? Pull the troops out of the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
You want to call that, Nobel Peace Prize? Right. Give me a break. I feel like, not Donald Trump, but Barack Obama, past President Obama, it's like they only cared about him for his color. Yeah, we got to give the first black president of the United States the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
That's stupid. It sums up.
It's malarkey, as Joe Biden likes to say.
Yeah. I hate Joe Biden.
He just needs to get out there. He is.
Yeah.
Kind of like John McCain, but,
Yeah.
although he is, actually.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Rest in peace, John. But, with all due respect.
As we wrap up this segment, I have been compiling a list of, if there was a war, meaning big time war, who would be against who would be undecided, and I have, this is the list I have. On one side we have USA,
Mm-hmm.
Britain, France, Germany, South Korea, Israel, Canada. On the other side, we would have North Korea, Iran, and of course I'm probably leaving out some countries on both sides, but North Korea, Iran, Russia, Syria, India, Lebanon, Iraq, and Hezbollah would of course be in there as well. And in the middle, I would put China and Turkey in the middle.
Yeah,
And
I can see that. Well, honestly, I think we could throw India in the middle there.
You
Potentially.
could.
Potentially.
I think India would choose the side of Iran based on the Muslim connection
Yeah, that's true.
rather than.
But India's really Hindu,
Yeah, Hindu and Muslim,
But they kind of wear that. They kind of have the same. I shouldn't say same culture, but they still got that. They still wear those same hijabs or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever hijab, whatever. I'm not even that experienced on the freaking culture over there, like what they wear.
Yeah, that's the last thing I would want is a big war like that. Next up, we can talk about the Middle East in general, if we want.
I got some things to say about the Middle East, actually.
Right. So do I.
We've actually had some pretty juicy,
Right.
if we want to call it juicy, or some really big and interesting things.
List the positives Trump has done in the Middle East, and list the negatives Trump has done in the Middle East.
The positives would be, really, I think, some people maybe, even you the listener, may disagree, but I think we have definitely made a presence in the Middle East more than we have before Donald Trump
You
came
think
in
that's a
office.
positive? A presence? What do you mean presence? Military?
Yeah,
or?
militarily. For instance, people debate it. We have shown that we will bomb people and bomb capitals and military airfields. Okay, specifically speaking, in Syria. Okay, and we've shown that we've made progress over there. But here's the downside. I think we've killed too many innocent civilians. What they do, they're just like you and I, okay, Dean.
Yeah.
And I think that we've got ourselves too far in, because putting a presence in, I think, is a good and a bad, because people know we mean business and that we will bomb. I think it does send a strong political message to Russia, too.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is, we're spending so much money. But you know what? We've already spent, trillions of dollars
Yeah,
in there.
who cares about money? I mean,
What's
at
what's
this
extra
point,
$10 billion?
At this point, who cares?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
we spent trillions and trillions.
Yeah.
But we gotta stop at some point, though. We gotta say enough is enough.
If I were to list the positives and the negatives, I'm not sure I could list a positive. I think there are only negatives, and I think I think when Israel bombs someone, that is almost like us bombing someone, and when we bomb someone, it's almost like Israel bombing someone. You can almost lump them together. And I mean, Israel's the only country in the world that, without warning, without checking with other governments first, Israel can bomb whoever they want, kill as many people as they want, and no one's gonna dare question it.
No.
And I mean,
Well, do you think that they were justified in bombing Iran?
I don't see what Iran has done.
Well, they did fire a missile at them.
Iran and Israel?
Yeah. And then Israel shot that down, and then they bombed over 40 spots in Iran now. So really, Iran started the beef with Israel. And let me say this. Israel has a lot of American military equipment that they buy off us.
Right.
So
Or take.
or even take, yeah. Some people could argue that, which I could agree. And now Iran's paying a price right now. I mean, I only wonder when it's going to stop. I mean, Israel ain't no chump military. They really are a strong military.
Oh yeah.
They're actually very underrated, I think.
Yeah.
I really think they're up there with like Germany. I really do. Militarily. Yeah, technology and everything.
Right.
Well, I mean, they have the United States technology, man.
Right.
I mean, their economy may not be as strong as Germany's.
Right. I just don't see. I saw a tweet the other day. It said Hezbollah had 150,000 plus missiles aimed at Israel, and was waiting on orders from Iran to fire. And my first instinct was fire. And I don't want war. I don't want bloodshed. But it's like, when is Iran gonna send its own message? I mean, the U.S. always gets in this, flexing contest around the world, or this, dong swinging contest around the world. And it's like it's unnecessary. It's like you, you, you don't just bomb whoever you want. It,
I mean,
like, imagine if like any government throughout history said, "Oh, we don't like," just an example, we don't like the king of Saudi Arabia, or we don't like the president of France or the chancellor of Germany, and just overthrew every government they don't like. I mean, that's insane.
King Alexander, maybe. From back in the day. Where he conquered, he's like the most efficient leader of all time. He covered the most ground.
You're talking Russian Tsar?
No. King Alexander, man.
From where?
I can't remember what exact country. I have to look. You not listen to history class? King Alexander? He covered so much ground.
King
So,
Alexander.
yeah, look him up. I remember it distinctly from back in my high school days, man. King Alexander.
King of Yugoslavia.
Yeah,
If that's who you're
he's
talking.
literally back in the day. He literally took over anybody. Well, basically, he was always on rampage. Started taking over everybody he didn't like, basically, or even he liked him. He just wanted the land.
Mhm.
So, people you can read up on him. Great leader, but ended up getting killed and losing battles.
Right.
But Israel. Back to Israel.
Right.
I want to say Israel. Iran. I saw a thing. It was reported. Now people can say what they want about the fake news media, but I actually think this is true. I believe it. Iran fired 18 missiles into Israel, and Israel's anti-air defense system shot down every single one of them.
That was in response to an Israeli bombing, though.
After Iran had already tried shooting missiles into their country first starting the conflict. I mean, Iran isn't some nice guy. They still have political interests. Now, Grant, I do what they want in Israel. I don't know, but I don't mind having Israel helping us out. It's about time they started attacking somebody.
It's about time they pull their own weight, but
pull U.S. troops out.
Yeah, pull U.S. troops out
In certain areas.
and just shut up when it comes to the Middle East. It's like,
But do we want ISIS to spread again?
no. I mean, Assad kills ISIS.
You sound like Obama right now.
Wow.
Pull all the troops out of the Middle East.
I agree with more.
They're coming home.
I agree with Obama on how we handled Israel more than how Trump has handled Israel. And, I mean, it's like Russia has intervened in the Middle East, killed hundreds of thousands of ISIS members. I mean, they've created stability wherever they go. Granted, they can be harsh sometimes, but if you're fighting against something harsh, if you're not harsh back, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So you got to be harsh back. I mean, Assad kills terrorists, and Assad will capture terrorists and move them. Sometimes he won't kill them. He'll put them in buses and move them to a different spot in the Middle East, which is interesting. And
That is no good.
The U.S. acts like they do all this peacemaking in the Middle East. That's just blasphemy. We've been there 35 years. I mean, look at it. It's bombed to shreds.
Well, what's left?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that's left is Israel, of course. Iran is there. The capital of Syria, for the most part. Damascus is still in touch and free. But
You think this all started 35 years ago with Israel wanting the U.S. to take out everybody so Israel could thrive in the Middle East? It's a theory.
it's a theory. Greater Israel. If you haven't read about it, you should. Greater Israel is a theory as well.
I have no problem with Israel being strong, by the way.
I don't either. I want any homeland to be strong, but I mean, they encroach in affairs. We don't encroach in theirs. It's just a double standard, in my opinion.
One-sided affair.
Yeah.
I mean, I I like Israel more than the alt right gives them credit for, and I know I like them more than you do, Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, granted, I don't think Israel's the root of all our problems. Do I think that they need to pull? They're strong enough economy. How much?
They don't need our help.
No, they
And
don't.
we don't need theirs.
But I would like to know how much foreign aid does the United States get from other countries?
Get from other countries?
Yeah. I mean,
don't know.
that's probably zero.
Yeah.
Why would anybody give the United States money?
Yeah.
They ought to.
Yeah.
How much debt we're in?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 22 trillion now.
Right.
You know, or at least knocking on the door of 22.
Yeah. The thing that just makes me mad the most is U.S. politicians pushing for regime change in Iran. If they think that we're going to ask the president and the Ayatollah of Iran to, hey guys, please step down, we don't like you. If we think they're going to do that, I mean, we're dead wrong. I mean, Iran, those guys aren't going anywhere. As they shouldn't, in my opinion. They may the best man win, I guess. But we don't have a right to call for regime change. That's up to the Iranian people. Through elections, through coups, whatever they want to do. It's up to them. It's not up to
Yeah, it had
us.
to be a coup.
Yeah, it probably would have to be a coup.
It's rigged.
It's, yeah, I would say for the most part rigged. And another thing, when Saddam Hussein was head of Iraq and invaded Iran, Iran didn't have any missiles to defend itself. In Iraq, Saddam Hussein used chemical weapons against innocent Iranian civilians.
And the United States killed him.
No, not then. The United States helped Saddam Hussein. Eventually killed him. We eventually killed him. Eventually took him down. But at that time, during the Iraq-Iran war, we helped Saddam Hussein. Instead of giving Iran missiles to defend itself, which they had zero, no missiles to defend themselves, once we gave Saddam Hussein the help, not Iran. No wonder Iran wants missiles. They don't know when the next guy's coming knocking on the door.
Who would that
of Tehran.
be?
Saudi Arabia, maybe? I mean, those guys...
I doubt it.
Saudi Arabia is getting more and more friendly to the United States, more and more friendly to Israel. If you're Iran, don't give up your missiles. Why would you? I mean, why would you
if you're
do that?
Iran, yeah.
Yeah. Why? I mean, why would we want them to give up? We would get pulled into another Middle Eastern conflict. Our boys would die. More of our boys would die.
Yeah, that is true. But
Why did we help Saddam Hussein instead of giving Iran missiles to defend themselves? It's money.
push Iran farther down the tubes, probably.
Yeah, for no reason. And people forget. I mean, the current Ayatollah was part of the coup of the Pahlavi dynasty of Persia, of Iran, and overthrew the Iranian government in 1979. And
The Iranian government, just looking at them people,
right.
You just can tell they're evil people.
I wouldn't say they're evil. I wouldn't.
The Iranian
It's
president.
okay to call them evil people, but surely you don't want regime change.
I like to see regime change.
Why?
Look,
That's more war, because we would have
for
to.
one,
We would have to do that.
Sharia law.
They don't have nearly. I mean, Saudi Arabia pushes homosexuals off buildings, where Iran.
That's fine.
Iran certainly persecutes homosexuals to a large extent, but Saudi Arabia, they beat women in the streets, where in Iran they don't.
Well, they can't even drive.
Where
Talk about Sharia law. They're a lighter version of it, probably.
okay, well,
They're a knockoff.
of Saudi Arabia, I mean, 15 of the 19 9/11 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. They didn't come from Iran. They came from Saudi Arabia. And 9/11 is not that long ago. 17 years. That's it. And we are best buddies with the country that perhaps did it.
Well, Osama bin Laden. You know, people. How many? First off, I want to take a poll. How many alt-right people do you think Bush did 9/11?
How many alt-righters think Bush did 9/11? Oh, man. That's extremely hard to tell. I would say a very low amount.
Here's the thing, and I'll say my piece on this subject. Get off topic just one sec. One, I don't think George Bush is smart enough in the first 9 months of his presidency to plan out such an attack. And if so, he's genius to do that. Planning that big of an attack.
Right.
Which I know he's not. So nobody tell me Bush did 9/11. If it was Bill Clinton was involved too with it. Now, is it mysterious how that World Trade Center, like number 2 or 3 or whatever it was, mysteriously just fell down? It is. I don't have an answer for that. But I still think terrorists hijacked those planes from Saudi Arabia, driven by. Now, granted, they were trained, Dean, in American flight schools in Florida, which is the amazing thing.
Right. Yeah.
Paid by Osama bin Laden. So that's my piece on the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, I still think it's smart. But anyway, back to Saudi Arabia and Iran. The Sharia law thing, I don't see how anyone can support them. I saw a thing.
But Saudi Arabia has Sharia law. Saudi Arabia, if you look at terrorists, Shia Muslims are not terrorists. It's always the Sunni Muslims. What country in the world has the most Shia Muslims in it? Iran. 99.5% or 99.3% or something like that of Iran's Muslims or Iran's people are Shia Muslims. The most peaceful Muslims. Very rarely do you find a terrorist that's a Shia Muslim. Sunnis and Shias don't like each other for that exact reason.
But Iran's government is the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism.
I don't buy that.
How can you not buy that?
I don't.
I mean, heck, even MSNBC is saying it.
Saying that.
Give me a break. And Fox News. Look.
Well, they want regime change. You don't see the connection there. Saudi Arabia is far more state sponsor of terrorism than Iran. I mean,
here's my thing on MSNBC, CNN, and Fox thing. Look, why would they want to go through with anything that Donald Trump's trying to do right now?
Say that again.
Why would CNN or MSNBC want to say, yeah, Donald Trump's doing a good job in the Middle East, and he's doing a very good job wanting regime change?
Well, I think
they won't say that. It's like when everybody's agreeing, you know something has got to be right.
That's a good point. Republicans want regime change. Liberals want regime change. That should tell you everything you know. The alt-right has to be the anti-war movement.
I am anti-war.
Okay. Well, regime change means war. So you can't ask him to step down. You can't say, Mr. Rouhani, Mr. Khamenei, please step down. We don't like you.
I mean, you don't know until you try. I mean, it's probably not going to happen.
They would pick up guns themselves before give up that throne.
Then why don't we arm Iranian rebels?
Arm Iranian rebels.
Who want regime change?
Have you...
Now, we haven't had much success.
The last time we armed rebels, they were massacring Christians and cutting their heads off. I don't advise. We shouldn't arm anyone. That's more money going in the Middle East. When you arm rebels work as mercenaries the minute you give them a gun. Because we pay them. They're going to take money from terrorist groups if they pay them, if they get paid more. So are you for regime change in Iran or not?
I am for regime change.
Name the positives that would come from regime change in Iran.
Well, number one, women. I'm a big advocate for women.
But Saudi Arabia beats women in the street.
I have not came out and supported Saudi Arabia.
Okay, well, our government does.
And I'm against that.
But using women as a positive, that's a little insane.
No, that's not insane considering how, I mean, they wouldn't have to wear those hijabs or the hijab, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Those type of costumes
in
they wear.
In Syria, they don't have to.
Okay.
Are you for regime change in Syria? No, you're not.
I'm torn.
You're not.
I'm torn.
Oh my, you're not.
I'm absolutely torn on it.
But that means more war. Regime change means war.
I mean, that is right. But it would never hurt. Okay, imagine my analogy. give my analogy. It would never hurt to ask a girl for a number because you never know until you try. Do you get turned down 99% of the time?
Are you comparing that to asking a leader of a foreign government to step down because we don't like them?
I'm just saying it doesn't hurt to ask.
Okay.
You don't know until you try. I mean,
if Trump asks,
are you opposed to him asking? Just asking?
Yeah. That's a waste of time.
Yeah, I think making some bold threats toward them wouldn't hurt. Because we showing we mean business in the Middle East.
I just don't like how America spreads its tentacles everywhere. Why can't we put America first instead of putting the Middle East first? Let's worry about our infrastructure, our economy, our healthcare, our immigration, our borders, our government, instead of worrying about the Middle East. Well, next we can talk about the Blankenship ad, midterms, we'll talk about a little crypto, a little immigration. If you want to go ahead and play that Blankenship ad, it'll be fine. Good laugh for the listeners.
Kemp, I'm so conservative. I blow up government spending. I own guns that no one's taking away. My chainsaw's ready to rip up some regulations. I got a big truck, just in case I need to round up criminal illegals and take them home myself. Yeah, I just said that. I'm Brian Kemp. If you want a politically incorrect conservative, that's me.
Alright folks, that was Brian Kemp. We're going to play the Don Blankenship ad here in a moment.
As well.
Yeah, play the top one.
Thing one tonight, primary day in America has come and gone, as has the brief and glorious political career of Don Blankenship, at least for now. He is, of course, the former coal company executive who was released from prison last year after serving a year for mine safety violations connected to an explosion that killed 29 people. He then ran for U.S. Senate and talked about China people.
This idea that calling somebody a China person, I mean, I'm an American person. I don't see this insinuation by the press that there's something racist about saying a China person. Some people are Korean persons and some of them are African persons.
He also began referring to Majority Leader of the Senate as Cocaine Mitch, making a bizarre connection to a report that a shipping vessel owned by Mitch McConnell's father-in-law was discovered to have drugs on board in 2014.
One of my goals as U.S. Senator will be to ditch Cocaine Mitch. I will beat Joe Manchin and ditch Cocaine Mitch for the sake of the kids.
And it's truly surprising and shocking that guy, with all of that charisma, that incredible
always entertaining Mr. Blankenship. What is do you see midterms coming out positive for Republicans or negative? I certainly see it coming out as negative all around.
I see it coming out as negative. I mean, you look historically speaking, the president, whatever party they are, they usually lose the House in the following primary election, in the following midterm election. And I'm very hopeful, but Donald Trump has been rallying, specifically in states that are red, to keep those red politicians in office. And really, I mean, I hope that the energy's still there, but the liberals and left-wing individuals know that they're in trouble right now, and then they're going to shock to vote.
Yeah. I think the left is going to show up to the polls.
Big time.
Yeah, because they understand it's a culture war. You know,
it is.
They're fighting.
And
that's
the
where
evangelicals,
conservatives.
Yeah.
Conservatives and evangelicals really lack in seeing the future of what could happen if they lose.
Well, this past election, you know, I consider myself evangelical, part of that group. We saw this year that this is a turning point. If we had Hillary in there, there's moral decline. I saw a stat, like 75% of the United States, of Americans think that the United States is in moral decline. It's like, goodness.
Mm-hmm.
If Hillary was in there, evangelical Christians knew that it was time. And we don't have to report the future. That's why Donald Trump's in the White House.
Yeah.
And you know, people can say what they want about Donald Trump, but I do think he's a changed man since 2006 when he made those comments. And nobody's perfect, but he was the lesser of the two evils. If people want to talk about that,
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, a little history lesson real quick. I mean, if the Obama years, certainly the later of the Obama years, were
Oh goodness.
you could compare to the Weimar Republic. You had the German Empire from 1871 to 1918, or 1919, the fall of, or the end of World War One, and then the Weimar Republic was came after that. Went from 1919 to 1933, and then from 33 to 45, we know what happened there. I mean, in the Weimar Republic, you had hyperinflation. I mean, you had in movies and in theaters, you had homosexuals. The first homosexual film was made in Berlin in the Weimar Republic, and that's what pushed the NSDAP and Hitler. That's what pushed them to victory. Was the moral decay and moral declining of the Weimar Republic, the interwar period from World War One to World War Two. That interwar period was, I mean, that was incredible. Like I said, first homosexual film, first transvestites were in Berlin, in the Weimar Republic.
Quite a shame.
And that's what, I mean, Hitler got rid of all that. And that's what propelled them to victory. And we see that with how we can compare from the later years of Obama to why Trump won. Because evangelicals showed up, whites, obviously, that's where his voting base is. They showed up big time because they see, obviously in their minds, they're not saying to themselves, well, we could become the Weimar Republic. That's not what they were thinking. They were thinking, you know, do I want my kids, do I want my grandkids growing up in a Obama-like, or it would have been Clinton-like
Era.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm just worried about becoming a Germany or United Kingdom, where,
Yeah.
or even, I mean, really,
Immigrants, yeah.
where I'm not opposed to, you know, good immigration, but I'm opposed to 99%.
Yeah.
You know, I saw a thing on Twitter. It says, "I'm a stranger in my own country,"
Yeah.
and this guy was walking through the street, all these shops, you know, that would have like selling like fresh food and stuff, and there were all these Muslims,
Yeah.
and it's like, where? I mean, these should be all Germans or French,
Yeah.
wherever he was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have to remove these people. We have to force. I'm not talking about the United States. I'm talking about Europe. I saw. Were you talking about Belgium? Is that what you were talking about?
Yes, I think
Belgium.
it was.
I mean, we should remove Muslims and Arabs from Belgium, from Germany.
Push that culture change.
Yeah, if they put up a fight, we put up a fight back. It's like we're getting into this passive state as a people. We're afraid to push back. We're afraid of the names we're going to be called.
Yeah, we got push for diversity. Push.
Yeah.
I'm not against diversity, but
And you're talking about I'm against diversity anywhere, but you're saying you're against diversity in America.
yeah,
I mean, in Europe, we have to remove.
Yeah.
Note, I'm talking about Europe. Note, I'm talking about Europe.
I agree.
I mean, in Germany, it's like you can walk through a street and there'll be the Turkish flag waving on the side of a building. That has to be removed. Those people
Yes.
have to be removed.
And like I was telling you earlier, if there's going to be immigration, there needs to be assimilation
Yeah.
of the way of
And
life.
we see that there's clearly not. You know? I
Yeah, there needs to be.
In Italy, there's like 90% of immigrants still are on welfare, still don't have jobs. Though they have to be removed. They have to be forced back into the country where they came from. It's now, if we wait 20 more years, we're not going to be able to take them out.
No.
Because it's going to be, all of Italy's going to be lost. All of England's going to be lost. Scotland will be lost. Berlin, Germany will be lost. You
I
know?
think that's the inevitable.
Yeah, the Baltic states will be lost. It's just, it's
Kind of a sad world.
yeah, it's a dystopia, not a utopia.
Yeah, it'd
We
be
can create
dystopia.
utopia if we want.
And I loved when Donald Trump had a Muslim ban. I think he knows what really needs to happen.
Yeah, Trump wants.
He's no dummy.
Trump wants a Muslim ban.
Yeah.
Like,
And
We
even though
should have
the Supreme
a
Court
Muslim.
overturned it,
yeah,
but once old Ruthie Ginsburg,
yeah.
falls over, which she is
I hope.
on the verge,
Yeah.
and we're hoping that it happens within Donald Trump's next term, or this term as soon as possible, conservative and more conservatives, or we can win that vote on getting a Muslim ban.
When Rome fought off the invasions from Africa, or Greece fought off the invasions of the Persians, or when, Holy Roman emperors fought off invasions from Asia, they didn't just defend their country. They didn't. The Austrians and their allies didn't defend Vienna in 1683 from the Ottoman Empire. They didn't just defend Austria. They defended Europe as a whole, and we got to take control now. We got to take control now. It's now or never. We'll lose it. We can't get it back.
Yeah.
And then there's nowhere to run.
There needs to be a nationalist push,
Yeah.
a patriotic nationalist
Yeah.
push like Donald Trump's campaign
Right.
in Europe.
And in Europe, you can take it even further in Europe. The media is a little different there. The militaries are a little different. You can take it to an extreme there. Where in America, you can't.
Yeah. I mean, especially with it being so divided right
Yeah.
now.
I wish we had a government that funded nationalist movements, nationalist parties. And maybe in 30 years when Trump's gone, we'll learn that he secretly was funding, Alternative for Germany and Golden Dawn and whatnot. Maybe he knows what's up, but
I wonder what Germans, Britons, or British people think, or even Belgian people
yeah,
think.
no one ever asked if they wanted immigration. No one ever asked.
No.
There was no vote. There was no.
It's like open borders,
Yeah.
like it's freaking open season,
Yeah.
and it's appalling to me how a government can just say, yes, let's be overran by Muslims.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, how does this happen? Look,
Yeah.
I want to help refugees. I think it's a terrible situation in the Middle East.
That's why we gotta quit bombing. There'll be less refugees.
Yeah, I mean,
They won't drown in the
I
ocean.
don't
or
want to sound
someone
like
else.
I'm insensitive to these people. I mean, I really do feel for them.
I do, yeah.
And as a Christian, it's like we can't not help these people.
Right.
But I think that I'd love for them to keep their culture. But if they're going to come into the United States or a country in Europe, they need to assimilate and respect the rules and the way of life.
Yeah.
Okay, in your household, you do what you want in your household. But anything outside the household, it needs to be assimilated.
Yeah.
That's my piece on that.
Yeah. And I think, it's Europe needs to awake. There's
And get back to their senses.
and America too. I think America's senses are different than Europe's at this point, but
Mhm.
I mean Europe's got to become who they are, and
And really become strong again.
really, strong again. Make Europe great again.